This conference will now be recorded.
Yeah. Hare Krishna. Welcome to all of you. I have about 45 minutes, right, Bandhu Balde Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu.
So now, today, the topic which I am going to speak upon is Dhruva Charitra. Dhruva Maharaj, very famous, as all of you must be knowing him. There's a big mention of Dhruva Maharaj and fourth Canto. And now, Dhruva Maharaj, why he became so famous, there are a lot of things to share. And in this short time, let us see a few of his achievements and whatever, why he was favored and why. So now we start with the creator of the universe, the secondary creator, Lord Brahma, the four-headed Brahma of our universe, as you see on the screen. Now from Brahma came about all the other dynasties and all. So he had some pious dynasties, some impious dynasties also. Okay. Now his pious dynasty, for example, the four Kumaras, the Narada, Ribhu, Hamsa, Aruni, Yati, they all became Naishtika brahmacharis, or as you call it, Udvareta. And there is now the next, in this chapter, fourth Canto, chapter 8, the impious dynasty is also described. Now Brahma's impious dynasty, his son was Adharma.
Tulsi Prabhu, can you go on? Tulsi Prabhuji, sorry to interrupt. Prabhuji, can you go on my slideshow mode so that the fonts will be better?
Okay, sorry. Sorry. Give me a moment. Sorry.
So Prabhu, you are on mute.
You're on mute and you go to slideshow, Prabhu. On the top, here it is. You can see my cursor. Yeah. Slideshow. Yep. From beginning. Choose from beginning, Prabhu.
Yeah.
No, in the slideshow, you should choose from beginning, left side. Leftmost
Hare
side.
Krishna, if you press F5, I think it should go to slideshow directly.
Yeah, done.
Now, the next slide which I was talking about, Brahma's son Adharma, irreligion, and his daughter Mrisha, falsity. When you go through Bhagavatam, Srila Prabhupada explains very nicely in the purport. Though this subject is very difficult to understand, not so easy, but if you go through the purports, it will be explained so nicely. I will not dwell much upon this, but about 5 shlokas are there recommended to study nicely. Now, these the Adharma and Mirsha got married. They gave birth to Damba, bluffing, and Maya, cheating. Now, this Damba and Maya, they were taken by Narati, who had no children. Damba and Maya produced Lobho, greed, and Nikriti, cunningness. Now, from them were born Krodha and Himsa, anger and envy. From whom, again, Kali and Durukti. Kali means quarrel, the age of quarrel, as you know, and Durukti, harsh speech. And from these two came about Mrityu and Bhiti. Okay. Mrityu and Bhiti, then they produce Yatna, excessive pain, and Niraya, hell. Now this is the summarized explanation of the causes of devastation. And now devastation of the universe, we call it the Brahmanda. or even the pinda, the downfall of the soul, how the soul falls down. Now we should learn to despise. We should learn to despise all the causes of devastation, beginning from cheating, and then we shall be able to make advancement in a life. 1 minute. In a life of piety, the possibility of our attaining Krishna consciousness, Srila Prabhupada's writes, will be easier, and we shall not be subjected to repeated devastation. Now, it is highly recommended. Hearing this thrice will wash away our sinful contamination. This is a very nice statement. It is one of the shlokas talking about this. The next, we come from Brahma's, this impious dynasty, we come to another dynasty. The pious dynasty was all the brahmacharis, and now we come to Swayambhuva Manu. Swayambhuva Manu, Brahma's son. From his dynasty starts, he had two sons. First son was Priyavrata, which is not in discussion today. The second son, Uttanapad. Uttanapad had two wives, Suruchi, the queen who gave birth to Uttama, and Suniti, the maid servant, gave birth to Dhruva, Dhruva Maharaj, as we know. Okay. Now, once the story goes, the king was holding one of his sons, Uttama, on his lap. Uttama was the son of the queen, whereas Dhruva was the queen of the maid servant. So Dhruva wanted to sit on the lap of his father. He was a very young lad, 5-year-old. So definitely he had some affection with his father, so he wanted to be. But there, Suruchi insulted him. And these were the words. Can someone read this, or I have to read this? Bandhu Balde Prabhu?
We can read, Prabhu. My dear child, surely you are also the son of the king. You are not qualified, and you do not deserve to sit on the throne or the lap of the king, because you did not take your birth from my womb. You are unaware that you were born of another woman. You are trying to fulfill a desire which is impossible to fulfill.
This hurt him a lot. Just a 5-year-old lad, but because he had the Kshatriya blood in him, he could not bear this. Okay. Now, this led to different consequences. The great sage, I have to connect this. Now, he went to his mother, Suniti. Suruchi, Suniti, very nice name. Suruchi means where the king was interested upon. Her name was Suruchi. And Suniti is the maid servant wife who was following all the nitis. Okay, she was pious. So my dear child, when this child was insulted, this Dhruva went to his mother, Suniti. And when Suniti heard about all this, she was also affected. But she gave a nice instruction to Dhruva. She said, what your stepmother said is true. You are not so fortunate. Therefore, her advice to you was to worship Lord Narayana so that you can be blessed to take birth again from her womb and attain the kingdom or the throne. So you should not waste your time in becoming envious of others, angry upon others. Immediately you should get into worshipping Lord Narayana, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And this advice was taken very seriously by Dhruva Maharaj. He was very pious. He determined and he said, yes, I am going to achieve this. So he left his home without informing anyone. Okay. Now, When Narada Muni, he overheard all this, and understanding all the activities of Dhruva Maharaj, he was struck with wonder. He approached Dhruva Maharaj, and touching the boy's head with his all-virtuous hand, he spoke as follows. Now, on the slide, I do not have the full conversation. I have another document which I cannot share it now. I will read it through. Okay, before I start speaking on this. Wait a second. My dear boy, you are only a little boy whose attachment is to sports and other frivolities. Why are you so affected by words insulting your honor? My dear Dhruva, if you feel that your sense of honor has been insulted, you still have no cause for dissatisfaction. This kind of dissatisfaction is another feature of the illusory energy. Every living entity is controlled by his previous actions, and therefore there are different varieties of life for enjoying or suffering. In my opinion, such austerities are not possible for any ordinary man. It is very difficult to satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead. For this reason, my dear boy, you should not endeavor for this. It will not be successful. It is better that you go home. When you are grown up, by the mercy of the Lord, you will get a chance for these mystic performances. At that time, you may execute this function. And then Dhruva said, my dear Lord, talking to Narada Muni, I am very impudent for not accepting your instructions. Bluntly, he said. But this is not my fault. It is due to my having been born in a Kshatriya family. My stepmother Suruchi has pierced my heart with her harsh words. Therefore, your valuable instructions do not stand in my heart. Very nicely, Srila Prabhupada explains about this. Na bhinne shrayate hradi. It cannot, because I am overwhelmed. He said, O learned Brahmana, I want to occupy a position more exalted than anyone yet achieved within the three worlds by anyone. Even by my fathers and my grandfathers. If you will oblige, kindly advise me of an honest path to follow by which I can achieve the goal of my life. He is clearly declaring to Narad Muni that I have a material goal to fulfill. I cannot listen to your advice and instruction. Now the great personality Narad Muni, upon hearing the words of Dhruva Maharaj, became very compassionate towards him. Now this is quality of a Vaishnava. He was trying to discourage him and trying to teach him that not getting affected by harsh words and all. But at the same time, when Dhruva Maharaj was adamant, he became very merciful and compassionate. Upon hearing the words of Dhruva Maharaj, he became very compassionate, and in order to show him his causeless mercy, he gave him the following expert advice. In other words, Srila Prabhupada explains that he was trying to test that little boy, trying to discourage him, test him. But when he saw that, yes, he was very serious in spiritual life, or in achieving his desired goal, then he became merciful. Okay. What expert advice did he give him? He said, any person who desires the fruits of the four principles, that is dharma, artha, kama, moksha, religiosity, economic development, sense gratification, and at the end, liberation, should engage himself in the devotional service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. For worship of his lotus feet yields the fulfillment of all of these. My dear boy, I therefore wish all good fortune to you. You should go to the bank of the Yamuna, where there is a virtuous forest named Madhuvana, and there be purified. Just by going there, one draws nearer to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who always lives there. He initiated Dhruva with a secret mantra. Now, Srila Prabhupada, I would like to mention here before I forget. It is confidential in this sense. What? The secret mantra. Why it is secret? Srila Prabhupada explains so nicely. Okay. He says, if the mantra was secret, then why it has been published in the Bhagavatam? Then it is no more a secret. It is confidential in this sense. One may receive a published mantra anywhere, but unless it is accepted through the chain of disciplic succession, the mantra does not act. It is said by authoritative sources that any mantra chanted without having been received from the disciplic succession has no efficacy. Another point established in this verse is that meditation should be carried on with the chanting of a mantra. Srila Prabhupada mentions, chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra is the easiest process of meditation in this age of Kali Yuga. We are talking about Satya Yuga, Dhruva Maharaj, but Srila Prabhupada reminds us that this is Kali Yuga, and the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra is the easiest process of meditation in this Kali Yuga. As soon as one chants the Hare Krishna mantra, he sees the forms of Krishna, Rama, and their energies, and that is the perfect stage of trance. Now, Dhruva Maharaj was very obedient. He immediately accepted the advice and instructions, and he proceeded. And he did exactly what was advised to him. He meditated. There is a story how he did, how he achieved every day. Within a short time, within 6 months, he achieved the success of meeting the Lord face to face. Within a time of 6 months, a young lad of a five-year-old. Now, when I would like to mention the description in this Bhagavatam given about the Supreme Personality of Godhead, which Narad Muni tries to explain him while giving the mantra and the process. He tries to explain him the beautiful form of the Lord. From verse number 45 to verse number 51, you have these 7 verses which describes the personality of Godhead. And very attentively he hears. I would just like to read one of these shlokas. Prasada vimukham shashvat prasanna vadanekshanam sunasham subhruvam charu vapolam surasundaram. The Lord's face is perpetually very beautiful and pleasing in attitude. 1 second. I think I have a... Yes. Wait a second. Yeah, though the font is very small. I don't know how did I...
No, you are the correct thing. Either you press F5 or go from beginning on the left side. On the left side on the top, you have that option. Just above the slide, you see from beginning it says. Yeah, resume the slideshow is also okay.
No, sorry, this is not the slide.
No, next slide.
Yeah,
fine.
The Lord's face is perpetually very beautiful and pleasing in attitude. To the devotees who see him, he appears never to be displeased, and he is always prepared to award benedictions to them. His eyes, his nicely decorated eyebrows, his raised nose, and his broad forehead are all very beautiful. He is more beautiful than all the demigods. Now, if you go through these 6 or 7 verses, you will come to know more about the beauty. We move ahead. So he followed the instructions, and within 6 months, as I said, he achieved success and he was face to face with the Lord. And then the Lord came and said, I know your desires. Okay. No, before that, actually, what happened, when he met the Supreme Lord, he fell flat, Dandavat Pranam, and he wanted to glorify the Lord. But he, being a young lad, it's mentioned there, he could not do so, and the Lord could understand what he wants to do. The Lord touched his forehead with his shankha, the conch, and immediately he got enlightened with the Vedic knowledge, and he could speak beautiful words and describe the Lord, his gunas and everything. And then after he finished, the Lord said, okay, I know what your desire is, why you have come here. There's a long story, how did he do tapasya and what happened, the whole universe was trembling with his tapasya and all these, and the demigods went to the Lord. They were complaining, we have to stop this young boy from his austerities, otherwise, then the Lord had to come to give him darshan. All this story is there. So the Lord said, I want to fulfill your desire, what you desire. Okay. And what he did, what he achieved by meeting the Lord is, that's the most important thing to understand for us. Now, by the time he met the Lord and he got enlightened, he forgot about his demands, his desires. But the Lord wanted to give him that benediction. And he said, you will be ruling this earth planet for 36,000 years. Satyuga, the lifespan was 100,000 years. 36,000 years after your father expires, after your father takes sannyas, you will rule. Your brother will die in the forest hunting, and your stepmother will go looking for him, and she'll also get burned in the forest fire. Therefore, you will take charge of your father's throne, and you will rule the whole earth planet for 36,000 years. And after that, you will be promoted to Dhruva Loka, which has never been occupied by any living being. Okay, you will become the king there. That Dhruva Loka is higher than Brahma Loka, Satya Loka, within this universe. Okay. Now, because he had a desire that I want to have a kingdom greater than my father or even my grandfather, and the Lord fulfilled the demand, the desire of this small child. The lesson to be learned, of course, the chapter is very, very interesting. The whole episode, we should all read through. Not only interesting, it is very auspicious for us. We will get purified by reading Dhruva Charitra again and again. But to summarize it and to take the important lessons for our practical application, you have to understand this story nicely. The tattva of the story. Then what happens is he achieves the kingdom. He goes and after ruling 36,000 years, the 12th chapter explains how the Pushpak Vimana came from Vaikuntha with two Vishnu Dutas to carry him, and he stepped on the head of Mrityu, death personified, and he boarded the plane. And as soon as he sat in the plane, he immediately remembered her mother Suniti. What about her? Where is she? And the Vishnu Dutas could understand, and they informed him, don't worry, she is ahead of you in another plane. She is also traveling to Vaikuntha. You are qualified, therefore your mother is also qualified to go there. So in short, he achieved material success, what he desired, but later on he lost that desire, but still the Lord fulfilled his desire, and ultimately he achieved liberation, which is something, if you believe in this story of Dhruva Maharaj, which is history, recorded history, Bhagavatam, then there are a lot of things to learn and practice in our life, our spiritual life, and very important. though definitely I am also aspiring to imbibe some of the qualities and the tattvas which are explained here by Srila Prabhupada so nicely. First of all, let us go back and understand when that little boy was hurt and he wanted to achieve something material, some opulences, he immediately went to his mother. Okay, and the mother advised him, so he followed the instructions of his mother, first a stepmother and then his own mother. And when he followed, he went, the Lord could understand, and Narad Muni was sent to him. When a person is seriously pursuing a spiritual life to achieve the Lord sends a guru, a bona fide guru. Okay, and Narad Muni met him. Narad Muni, being a small child, of course, tried to discourage him, but test him, and then finally gave him the mantra, all his mercy, all his compassion to the little boy. And because of the mercy of Narad Muni, he could achieve that success within a short time. This is unbelievable what Dhruva Maharaj could achieve. But it is possible only if the Lord is pleased. Nothing is impossible for the Lord. And Srila Prabhupada explains, even in the verses it is explained, that what Dhruva Maharaj achieved by following the instructions of his mother and then later Narad Muni cannot be achieved by worshipping any other demigod. This can only be achieved by worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And not only that, I will try to now speak in Hindi also. Okay, is that okay, Bandhu Baldev Prabhu? Hare
Yes,
Krishna.
Prabhu, it is fine.
Yeah. So अब क्या होता है, हमारे अंदर की जो इच्छाएं होती हैं, हम उसको जबरदस्ती दफना नहीं सकते, हम उसको किल नहीं कर सकते, अपनी इच्छाओं को, भौतिक इच्छाओं को. हमें क्या करना होगा, उन इच्छाओं को लेके किसी और के पास नहीं जाना है, गुरु के माध्यम से केवल भगवान के पास जाना है, और किसी के पास नहीं जाना. अकामोह सर्व कामोह मोक्ष काम उदारती तीव्रेण भक्ति योगेन यजेत पुरुषम परम. Whether you are full of desires, whether you have no desires, whether you have desire liberation, in any case you have to achieve, you have to worship only the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is a very, very important instruction. No other demigod is worshipable. Now we understand what is fulfillment. इच्छा की पूर्ति का मतलब क्या होता है? हमारी इच्छा, कोई भी इच्छा हो, जब हम व्यक्तिगत इच्छा रखते हैं तो उसको हम भौतिक इच्छा बोलते हैं, ठीक है ना, व्यक्तिगत, दूसरों से अलग. बट भगवान और गुरु जो उनकी जो इच्छाएं हैं, जो हमारे संप्रदाय की इच्छा है कि सबका आध्यात्मिक कल्याण हो, वो आध्यात्मिक इच्छा है. तो हमें अपने भौतिक इच्छाओं को, व्यक्तिगत इच्छाओं को बदल करके अपने गुरु और भगवान की इच्छाओं को हृदय में लाना होगा. हम इच्छा रहित नहीं हो सकते. We cannot become desireless. We are living beings. बट हमको अपने इच्छा को बदलना है, ठीक है. मटेरियल डिजायर, व्यक्तिगत पर्सनल डिजायर्स को हटा करके, क्या जो हमारे गुरु की और भगवान की हमारे लिए और सबके लिए इससे भी बड़ी जो इच्छा है, क्या भगवान की, उस इच्छा को अपने हृदय में लाना है. वो हमारे लिए भी और सबके लिए भी सुप्रीम बेनिफिशियल है. बस यही करना है. और इच्छा की पूर्ति का मतलब क्या है? जब हम इच्छा लेकर के किसी और के पास जाएं, किसी देवी देवता के पास, किसी ज्योतिषी के पास, या कुछ भी हम फुलफिल करने के लिए, इच्छा की पूर्ति के लिए, तो कहा जाता है कि कहीं से भी हमारी इच्छा की पूर्ति नहीं होगी. हाँ, इच्छा वस्तु की प्राप्ति हो सकती है कोई ना कोई दूसरी विधि से, लेकिन इच्छा की पूर्ति नहीं हो सकती. पूर्ति में 3 अंश हैं, एक प्राप्ति, एक तृप्ति और एक मुक्ति। इच्छा है मेरे हृदय में, उसको प्राप्त करना एक बात है, प्राप्त करके उससे तृप्त होना दूसरा लेवल है, और तृप्त होकर के उस इच्छा से मुक्त हो जाना ये तीसरा लेवल है। इसको बोलते हैं इच्छा की पूर्ति, द फुलफिलमेंट ऑफ द डिजायर। तो हमारी इच्छा की अगर हमें पूर्ति करनी हो, केवल प्राप्ति नहीं, क्या, तो विधि यही है कि हम केवल भगवान के पास जाएं और किसी के पास नहीं जाएं। हम इच्छा को मार नहीं सकते, इच्छा को बदलना है ना, तो इच्छा को बदलने के लिए भक्तों के माध्यम से, गुरु के माध्यम से हमको भगवान के पास ही जाना है। हम किसी के पास भी जाएं, क्या हम सबके पास जाके केवल ओनली हमको भगवान को प्राप्त करने का भगवान को प्राप्त करने की प्रार्थना करनी चाहिए सबके पास जाकर। सबके पास जाओ, केवल कृष्ण को मांगो, कृष्ण के ज्ञान को मांगो। म्यूट। भगवान ही तुम्हारी इच्छा की पूर्ति कर सकते हैं, प्राप्ति नहीं, उन्हें का पूर्ति कर सकते हैं। और फिर कैसे प्राप्त हो, भगवान के कैसे जाएं, वो नारद मुनि के पास। तो नारद मुनि के पास भी इतनी शक्ति थी कि वो उसकी इच्छा की पूर्ति कर सकता था, लेकिन नहीं, उसकी मां ने उसको कहा केवल भगवान के पास जाना है। तो नारद मुनि से उसने नहीं बताया कि मेरी इच्छा क्या है, क्या अब मेरी इच्छा की पूर्ति करो। उसने कहा केवल मुझे बताओ कि मैं कैसे भगवान को प्राप्त करूं, क्या, ताकि मैं उनसे जाकर के अपनी इच्छा की डिमांड कर सकूं। ओके, और तुम्हारे इंस्ट्रक्शंस मुझे समझ में नहीं आ रहे हैं, मेरा हृदय जो है जख्मी हो गया है, घायल हो गया है, अब मेरे को केवल अपनी इच्छा की पूर्ति के लिए भगवान से प्रार्थना करनी। तो उसको इंस्ट्रक्शन मिला और उस नारद मुनि के पास गया, नारद मुनि से भी उसने वही मांगा और फिर भगवान के पास गया, और भगवान के पास जाने से उसकी इच्छा की प्राप्ति नहीं हुई बल्कि उसकी पूर्ति हुई। इच्छा जो थी उससे भी ज्यादा उसने प्राप्त किया और उस इच्छा से मुक्त भी हो गया। आगे चल के हम लोग पढ़ेंगे इसमें कि जब भगवान ने उनको आशीर्वाद दिया, हाँ, उनको वरदान दिया, तो उसके बाद वो खुश नहीं थे। ही वॉज नॉट हैप्पी, वो प्रसन्न नहीं थे। क्यों प्रसन्न नहीं थे, ये एक प्रश्न चिन्ह है। क्या आपके प्रश्नों में वो प्रश्न आने वाला है कि वो भगवान से इतना वरदान प्राप्त करने के बाद भी क्यों प्रसन्न नहीं थे। तो यहाँ पे वही बात सामने आती है समझने के लिए कि हम जब भगवान से जब हम कुछ मांगते हैं तो भगवान उसको, हमारी इच्छा चाहे मर भी जाए आगे चल के, फिर भी भगवान उसको प्राप्त करवाते हैं और उससे हमको मुक्ति भी दिलवाते हैं। हमारे सभी व्यक्तिगत भौतिक इच्छाओं से हमको मुक्ति दिलवाते हैं भगवान। ये फर्क होता है। अभी हम उदाहरण के तौर पे देख सकते हैं कि हिरण्यकशिपु की भी बहुत महत्वाकांक्षाएं थी, रावण की भी बहुत महत्वाकांक्षाएं थी, ठीक है। और ये दोनों किसके भगत थे? रावण शिव जी का भक्त था और हिरण्यकशिपु ब्रह्मा जी की उपासना करता था, और अपनी इच्छा की पूर्ति के लिए उसने ब्रह्मा को विवश कर दिया, नीचे आए, इसी प्रकार के तपस्या करके उसको नीचे बुलाया और उससे वरदान मांगा। क्या वरदान मांगा और उसका रिजल्ट क्या हुआ? उसको प्राप्ति हुई जो जो उसने मांगा, मगर फिर भी वो असुर कहलाता है। भगवान को आके उसका उद्धार करना पड़ा। रावण का भी यही असर हुआ, उसने भी शिव जी से बहुत वरदान मांग ली, अरे शिव जी को प्रसन्न करना, ब्रह्मा जी को प्रसन्न करना और उनसे वरदान मांगना, ये कोई मामूली बात नहीं है। ये अपने में बाप में बहुत बड़ी अचीवमेंट है। पर इतनी तपस्या करके इतने बड़े देवताओं को बुला करके उनसे वरदान लेना, और उसके बाद भी आप असुर कैटेगरी में रहेंगे, आपको मुक्ति नहीं मिलती, आपकी इच्छा और बढ़ती जाती है, बढ़ती जाती है, बढ़ती जाती है। क्या यहां तक बढ़ जाती है कि अब हम विष्णु को भी ललकारेंगे, विष्णु से भी हम युद्ध करेंगे, विष्णु की पत्नी का अपहरण करेंगे, सीता को। ये आप समझ रहे कि इस प्रकार हम देवी देवताओं से कुछ याचना करके कुछ मांगते हैं, तो उस इच्छा की प्राप्ति के बाद हमारा हशर क्या होता है, हमारा लोभ और बढ़ता जाता है और हमारी बुद्धि और भ्रष्ट होती जाती है। हमको आध्यात्मिक ज्ञान, भगवान की भक्ति की तरफ तनिक भी रुचि नहीं होती। लेकिन अगर यही इच्छाओं को लेकर के अगर हम भगवान से प्रार्थना करें, ध्रुव महाराज की तरह, गुरु के माध्यम से, अपने सीनियर्स, अपने माता पिता के आज्ञा से उनको प्रसन्न करके, गुरु को प्रसन्न करके अगर हम भगवान को प्राप्त करके उनसे अगर हम मांगते हैं, या मांगने की भी आवश्यकता नहीं पड़ती है। उसने तो ध्रुव महाराज ने दर्शन लेने के बाद कुछ मांगा ही नहीं भगवान, लेकिन समझ गए, उनको मालूम था, और उसने जो उसकी इच्छा थी उससे भी ज्यादा उसको दिया, जिसकी वो कल्पना भी नहीं कर सकते थे कि ध्रुव लोक उसको मिलेगा। कल्पना भी नहीं कर सकता था वो ब्रह्मा से ऊंचा स्थान चाहता था, तो ब्रह्मा से ऊंचा स्थान इस संसार में वही है, इस ब्रह्मांड के अंदर, तो उसको वो मिला। तो कल्पना से भी ऊपर जाकर के उसको भगवान ने प्राप्ति करवाई, और फिर अंत में मुक्ति भी दिलवाई, वैकुंठ धाम दिलवाया। एक छोटा सा मैसेज है ध्रुव चरित्र से, वैसे बहुत कुछ इसमें और सीखने के लायक बातें हैं, पर अभी मैं समय के अनुसार, आई थिंक द टाइम इज ओवर। बंधु बल्ले प्रभु।
No, Prabhu, you have 5 more minutes.
Okay. I think if I check if I have any other slide which I wanted to share.
Tulsi Prabhuji. Tulsi Prabhuji.
No, I am very poor in making. Yeah.
Tulsi Prabhuji, आपने जो बताया ना, the sequence, that the situation where he said Dhruva was not satisfied, आपने हिंदी में बोले थे, तो थोड़ा वो समरी थोड़ा आप हमको इंग्लिश में भी बता दीजिए प्रभु जी, because there are several people who may not fully understand Hindi. So that particular very instance where Dhruva got something he initially aspired for, but when he got, he was not satisfied. Why he was not satisfied? What he got and why he was not satisfied?
Now, Dhruva had the very big ambition of attaining a kingdom greater than his father and grandfather, Lord Brahma. And he could never imagine what I will get if I desire like this. So the Lord fulfilled his desire and gave him Dhruvaloka. And that also after giving him his father's kingdom for 36,000 years ruling there, and then he got Dhruvaloka. So he achieved so much. But when he got darshan of the Lord, and when he got enlightened by his touch, when he got enlightened by the small boy, he forgot about his desires. Not only forgot, I mean, the desire which he had, which he came with to the Lord, that got eradicated from his heart. Just imagine. And then he was thinking, what a fool I am. I came to the Lord with the mercy of my Guru Maharaj, my mother. I could meet the Lord, but I just came to ask for pieces of glass, broken glass. Kachan vichinvam api divya ratnam. But now I have got a very big diamond, a gem, which I don't want to lose. I have achieved much more than what I can even desire, or whatever benediction I'm getting from the Lord is nothing in front of what the Lord has kindly given me, his darshan and ultimate moksha, going to Vaikuntha. So he was not very happy in achieving according to his initial desires. But somehow, though he was not happy, but still, the Lord gave him, and he maintained his life very nicely. Actually, there is a statement by Srila Prabhupada in his purport. What is the definition of success? Srila Prabhupada very nicely puts it, I think I have somewhere here, let me see. At one line statement, Srila Prabhupada likes, let me just find out first. I'll do that. 1 minute. Definition. Yes. I am missing that. Prabhupada writes, the definition of success to achieve all material opulences in this material world and then ultimately achieve liberation. Dharma, artha, kama, and then moksha. This is the definition of success in life. So this can only be attained by worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead, approaching Him with whatever desires we have, and following dharma, not adharma, the cause of devastation, as I explained in the beginning. The cause of devastation is adharma and mirisha. But
Prabhu, it is 4.821, Prabhu. What you are referring to is 4.821. You can pick that up.
Correct. I forgot to just copy it down.
Okay.
Can you read it out, Prabhu? That's a simple one sentence.
I can read. The success of one's life is measured by one's material happiness in this life and liberation in the next. Such success can be achieved only by the grace of the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
That's it. Very nice. So, Bandhu Balde Prabhu, the time is up. What's next? Any question answers?
Yeah, Prabhu, there is a question I had put in the chat message. Can you look at the chat message and try to clarify us?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. So there is one.
They pray to demigods, agreed. But there are so many good and sattvic people who worship demigods as a part of family traditions, local traditions. Will they become asuras? Please clarify. Yes, to have a material desire itself is asuric. Okay, but if you pursue this and approach the demigods, then definitely we are going in the opposite direction. But if the demigod like Lord Brahma is our Adi Guru, our Sampradaya Guru, Lord Shiva is also a Guru of the Rudra Sampradaya. So approaching demigods separately, that you are equal to the Supreme Lord and you can give me benediction, whereas the fact is that all the benedictions given by the demigods are given by the Lord. The demigods are the via media. They are not capable of giving anything to anyone if the Lord does not sanction. So once we have this understanding that no demigod is equal to the Lord, okay, they are just via media, and we approach the demigods so that we get the benediction from the Lord directly, whatever material desire we have. If we go through demigods or through our gurus, we can approach. But forgetting the Lord and only going to demigods or only going to a guru with material desires and not worshipping the Lord, any material guru or any Jyotishi or astrologer or anyone, or any powerful person, any rich person or someone, we are going there and try to please them to get some material benedictions. That will not help us at all. This is like adding fuel to the fire. The fire of desire is burning in my heart, right? If I go to someone and to ask for some benediction, some favor, some material favor, this is adding fuel to the fire. If our desire, material desire, is not fulfilled, we get into the angry mode. काम से क्रोध आता है क्या? और अगर काम की प्राप्ति हो जाती है कामना की, तो क्रोध नहीं आएगा, लेकिन लोभ आएगा. फिर काम, क्रोध, लोभ. So from kama you get krodha or lobha. Kam, krodha, lobha. Then you get mat, matsarya and all that. Yeah. So this is the devastation process. But if we approach the Lord with whatever condition we are in, whatever material condition with material desires we are in, whatever the level of our disease is, the disease of bhava roga, materialism. Of course, we are materialistic people. We are in a certain degree of material disease, bhava roga. But if we approach the Supreme Lord, then everything falls into place. It says that a very famous shloka is Grace Mahamani Prabhu taught us. I'm forgetting the starting of the words.
Akama sarvakama.
No. Bhakti parishanu bhava virakti. Anyatra chaiva trika eka kala. Yeah. Prapadyamana se thashnatasu tushti pushti shutapayo nughasam. The meaning is, I don't have the translation right now, if you can take it out. He said, if you have a desire, it says bhakti pareshanu bhava virakti anyatra cheva trika ekakala. You get bhakti of the Lord, and you get bhakti para isha anubhava. I mean the anubhava of the darshan of the Param Ishwara, and then you get virakti. Bhakti, para ishanubhava and virakti. Anyatra chaiva trika ekakala. All together, just like a person eating food. A hungry person eating food gets three things in one go. He gets tushti, pushti, shuttapayo. Tushti means satisfaction, santushti. Pushti means he gets some energy, some health benefit, and then immediately he gets mukti also, shuttapayo, from the pain of hunger. Like three things coming together by one activity of eating food. Similarly, if the one activity of surrendering to the Supreme Personality of Godhead through devotees, I will add this here, surrendering to the Supreme Personality of Godhead through the association of devotees, through spiritual masters, bona fide spiritual masters, will give you three things together. That is bhakti of the Lord, okay, in whatever condition we are in, whatever capabilities we have, that will be taken as bhakti. And with that bhakti, we get para ishanubhava, the experience of the Lord, the darshan of the Lord, the understanding of the Lord, the enlightenment of the Lord. And then after that we get virakti. Unless we get para ishanubhava, virakti is not possible. And even para isha anubhava, experience of the Lord, is not possible without bhakti. And similarly, bhakti is not possible without surrender to a devotee, or surrendering to the Lord through a devotee. So this is step-by-step process. When we follow the process of surrender to the Supreme Personality through bona fide spiritual masters, bona fide devotees, we get bhakti. And when we get bhakti, we get darshan of the Lord. When we get darshan of the Lord, we automatically get virakti. This is so similarly, the Dhruva Charitra is also explaining the same thing. Hare Krishna. Sorry, I went a little long for answering that.
No, actually we will chant that shloka and also we'll read the meaning. My wife will do that. Yeah.
Bhaktihi pareshanu viraktihi anyatra chaishatrika ekakalaha prapatyamanasya etashnataha syuhu tustihi pustihi shudapayonughasam. Devotion, direct experience of the Supreme Lord, and detachment from other things. These three occur simultaneously for one who has taken shelter of the Supreme Person of Godhead. In the same way that pleasure, nourishment, and relief from hunger come simultaneously and increasingly with each bite for a person engaged in eating.
Yeah, thank you, Mataji. Very nice. But I just added one word to it, taking shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead through a bona fide devotee. The process of surrender. Bona fide Guru. Anyway, so shall we close now or anything else, Bandhu Balde Prabhu or Jagan Prabhu?
Tulsi Prabhu, it was a very nice presentation, Prabhu. And today I learned an interesting concept of 3 levels of desires getting fulfilled: actual realization, and then getting satisfied, and then getting relieved of the desire. So that was one of the very interesting learnings which I got from your presentation today. So is there any how can we take that into our practical life? Is it possible to throw some light on that, Prabhu? Hare Krishna.
Practical of what? This particular. No, I didn't get your question. Could you just phrase it in one line?
Yeah, many of us do get some of our desires fulfilled, but ultimately doesn't get relieved. So for the benefit of all the devotees, so how do we get real fulfillment and then get relieved of the desires? Hare Krishna.
This process is very simple, no? The Mataji read the shloka, even that relates to this. Right? And similarly, Dhruva Charitra, what he did, we have to follow the footsteps of Dhruva. We have to approach the spiritual master and through him go to the Lord and express our desires. So when the Lord fulfills the desire, means he prapti, tripti and mukti, attaining, getting satisfied and getting relieved. Now I'll tell you, can I extend this by one more this thing? We
Yes,
say
Prabhu,
the
please.
devotees, मैं हिंदी में भी बोलता हूँ इंग्लिश में, भक्तों को कभी भगवान के पास जाके व्यक्तिगत भौतिक इच्छा नहीं मांगनी चाहिए. इसका मतलब ये हुआ, अगर कोई व्यक्ति भगवान के पास जाता है और बोलता है भगवान मैं बहुत दुखी हूं, क्या मेरे को ये मिल जाएगा वो मिल जाएगा तो मैं सुखी हो जाऊंगा, तो उसका असली प्रॉब्लम है कि वो दुखी है और सुख के साधन को ढूंढ रहा है. वो क्या सुख नहीं ढूंढ रहा है, वो सुख के साधन को मांगने जाता है. तो ये तो वही बात हो गई, मैं किसी बड़े डॉक्टर के पास जाऊं और अपनी प्रेस्क्रिप्शन खुद बोलूं लिखने के लिए कि मेरे को ये तकलीफ है, आप ये दवा लिख दो, ये दवा लिख दो, मैं ठीक हो जाऊंगा. क्या अगर हम डॉक्टर के पास गए हैं, सबसे बड़े डॉक्टर के पास, तो हमारा काम क्या है, हमको सरेंडर करना है. वो बोलेगा कपड़े उतारो तो कपड़े उतारना है, वो हमको टेस्ट करेगा, मशीन डालेगा, वो हमको सर्जरी भी करेगा और ज्यादा तकलीफ दो महीने अस्पताल में भर्ती करेगा, कैंसर है कुछ भी है. वी हैव टू सरेंडर टू द डॉक्टर. हमारा इलाज उसी में होगा. उसी प्रकार से हमारे भवरोग का इलाज कैसे होगा कि हम जाके खुद प्रेस्क्रिप्शन दे के मांगे भगवान से, भगवान हमको ये दे दो वो दे दो. फिर भी हम अपना प्रेस्क्रिप्शन लेके भी जाएंगे भगवान के पास, लेकिन भगवान इतने दयालु हैं कि हमारे प्रेस्क्रिप्शन को भी दवाई देगा, वो हमारे पेन किलर्स हमको देगा वो, और पेन किलर के साथ साथ वो हमारी सर्जरी भी करेगा, जैसे ध्रुव महाराज का हुआ.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you so much. There is one more query in the group Prabhu chat, if you can see, from Sunil Prabhu.
Sunil Prabhu. Hare Krishna. One more question, please. To whom we approach to fulfill our desire is more important than what we actually desire. Okay. Is it the right statement to live with? Yes, to whom to approach is the first thing, and what desires, because desires keep on changing and increasing. Yeah. But if we have the right source to fulfill, the right method to fulfill our desire, then whatever desires will come, definitely this statement is correct. Sunil Prabhu, you are right.
Thank you so
So
much.
the means to fulfill desire is more. Yes, sorry, I interrupted.
Please proceed, Prabhu. Please proceed.
No, it's okay. Sunil was right. Ishu Khani, very nice example. Tulsi, okay. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Tulsi Prabhu. Thank you once again, Prabhu, for the excellent presentation. and wonderful answering of the queries. So thank you once again for your association.
I am grateful and thankful to all of you for bringing me here and giving me a little service. Thank you so much. I really appreciate the efforts you are taking.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So we shall have a small bhajan now for the next 10 minutes.
Yeah. Your next class is from 7:10, no?
Yes, Prabhu, it is from 7:10. So I have a small request. If it is possible for you to join us at the to wait and then see our interactive quiz and give your feedback, we will be grateful, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
What time?
At the end of the program, up 8 o'clock, we have an interactive quiz.
Okay, so in between I can do my aarti and other services and I come back?
Yes, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu.
Thank you.
So I have shared the screen of the bhajan. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Is the recording stopped? Where is it?
This conference will now be recorded.
Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yat Kripat Mahamande Shri Guru Dinatarinam Paramananda Madham Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Ananda Lila Maya Vigrahaya Himanga Divya Chari Sundaraya Tasmai Mahaprima Sapradayo Sri Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste Sri Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste Sri Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste. Hare Krishna. I want to thank Bandhu Baldev Prabhu. I want to thank Jagan Prabhu for giving this opportunity to speak on the instructions of Prthu Maharaj. This is from the 21st chapter of the 4th Canto, and a little background on Prthu Maharaj. Prthu Maharaj is the son of Vena, and he was not born in the normal sense of a husband and wife, but it was through the churning of the limbs of King Vena, who was his father, and who was very atheistic person, a very atheistic king, and he was killed by the mantras by the assembled brahmanas because they wanted a king who could rule wisely with following the proper Vedic injunctions. And this is how generally a king should be. He should be ruling not basis out of his own whims and fancies, but actually from the Vedic injunctions. So King Prthu, he became the emperor, and he is considered to be the portion of the plenary portion of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Somewhere in the purport of Prabhupada, in this 25th chapter, Prabhupada mentions that he is also a very empowered incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, which means he's like the Shakti Avesh Avatar. So King Prthu came to become the emperor of the entire planet, and the whole purpose was that he could rule very properly, and he did so. When he saw that the citizens were they were hungry, there was no food that was supplied by earth, he also was very angry with Mother Earth, and Mother Earth then being frightened, she took the form of the cow and she started running, and King Prthu chased the earth in the form of the mother, and then finally the mother earth submitted and said that as a king you should think wisely and just, and you should not just be envious and get angry. And finally the earth, the mother earth, after pleading, the King Prthu was only happy when the mother started profusely giving milk in the form of to the calf, where different personalities, they approached in different forms as a calf. The devtas approached, the animals approached, the various kings approached, and they all took the demigods approached, and they all took these different benedictions from Mother Earth profusely. And after which he performed the Ashwamedh Yajna, and then there's this beautiful pastime where the Lord comes in the Yajna Sthali. Before that, Brahma comes. The reason is because he finishes 99 Ashwamedh Yajnas, and then the 100th one is not allowed by Indra because he feels insecure about his position. And then he takes the form of a sannyasi, disguised sannyasi, and Prabhupada actually mentions in the translation of one of the verses that this is the beginning of these fake sannyasis. Like Indra is the beginning of these fake sannyasis, and they were stealing the horses. And then finally Brahma comes, pacifies, and says 99 is enough. And then Vishnu as well comes, and then finally it stops at 99. And then there's instructions of Vishnu, and after that there are these prayers by King Prthu, which are also considered very sweet. King Prthu is considered as the example, as the best example for archanam, that is prayers to the deity. Prayers to the deity, King Prthu is considered as one of the examples. Just like you have the different limbs, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, Vishnu, each different personality. So Archanam, Prthu Maharaj is considered as the best example. As his prayers, we should get inspired the way he prayed his prayers to the deity form of the Lord. And then he prays also to Vishnu, which is one of a very good verse where he says that I need millions and millions of cups of years so that I can wonderfully listen to your wonderful glories. So these were some of his prayers. And then finally it comes to this chapter where Vidura is very much wanting to listen more about Prthu Maharaj. So Maitreya begins this chapter by glorifying how when King Prthu is entering his kingdom, how wonderful the citizens, knowing that the king is coming, who is endowed with such wonderful qualities, how nicely they're taken care of, how nicely he's welcomed. So it is so nicely, the first 6 verses, it is explained that the roads are very nicely beautified. The roads are scented with aguru and sandalwood flavor. There's these banana pillars, and there's fruits, and all kinds of wonderful decorations, all natural, nothing artificial, everything perfectly done. And it reminds me of when I went to Coimbatore, and from there we went to Sri Rangam for the first time. And in the end, when there is this service where the Lord Ranganath, he comes in the palanquin. When we happen to move around there, we happen to see that all of them staying there, where the chariot will go. There's this beautiful design that they do with rice flour, so wonderfully. I don't know what's called in South Indian language, but it's so wonderful and also perfect, all for the pleasure of the Lord. So all of this wonderful, beautiful cloth, golden gates, flower garlands, and also he was received, when he entered the palace, he was received with lamp, flowers, and yogurt. This is exactly how when we do our arti, the entire performance of the paraphernalia that we do in the performance of Aarti is exactly like welcoming the Lord with all this these paraphernalia, like the doop, the deep, the chamara, the scented water, the cloth. All of this is exactly like welcoming. And here it is mentioned yogurt as well. So I probably don't know why yogurt, because when we do Aarti, we don't offer yogurt, but then I'm sure there must be some information to that, and maybe at the end of the class, if someone has some information, please share. What I know that it's very auspicious that when someone wants to get a job or someone wants to go for something auspicious, they are served yogurt and sugar. So maybe something to add on that. And then finally, the conch shells are blown when he enters the kingdom. And then conch shells blowing is very auspicious. It is said that at home, when you blow conch shells, any booth, anything inauspicious that is there are completely, they fly away. So the more powerful you do it, the more powerfully they fly away. Then he very nicely glances at the citizens who have nicely welcomed him. And Prabhupada actually mentions that saintly persons, Vaishnavas, kings, of course, kings not in today's age, but some great personality. Of course, for our understanding, Vaishnavas, saintly kings, devotees, we should always try and give the best that we have. Not so opulent, maybe depending Yatha Shakti, what we have, but we should always do the best, because they are truly to be glorified. And then he looks upon to all the citizens, and when he looks upon to all the citizens, they are also so much very pleased. And Prabhupada mentions in the purport that the citizens were very much wanting to have a direct audience with the king, which in today's age of not the monarchy style, the government, it is very difficult to approach the head. But before the citizens wanted to approach, just like how we see also that when there is someone who is very dear to us and we have so much of awe and reverence, we also try and see that how we can also get an audience, and somehow or the other we get a glance somewhere from his from his corner of the eye. It so much satisfies us. Just like in a few days back or a few weeks back, we had the opportunity of His Holiness Jayapataga Maharaj, who's also like my spiritual master, to enter our homes, and we were also very anxious and eager that somehow or the other he comes, even if it takes such a long time. We get to see him. So there is always this great hope to try and get some kind of audience, some kind of mercy, just like this wonderful garland. Every time there's a Bhagavatam class, I kind of wear it. It's not for some pride or something, but it is just so that I can have Maharaja's mercy. His Holiness Jayapataga Maharaj's, this is Mahaprasad that Srila Prabhu had given to me, and so I keep wearing this is like some strength, because there is no strength otherwise to speak about the Lord. It is only by the mercy of the Vaishnavas that we are able to speak something about the Lord. So after this, Vidura questions to Maitreya and wants to know more about the glories of Prthu Maharaj. He says that Prthu Maharaj's instructions and the way he rules is followed by kings and by demigods. So I want to know more and more about Prthu Maharaj. So please kindly explain to me more about his glories. And then Maitreya then starts to explain that how Prthu Maharaj one time he wanted to perform again a sacrifice, and and how he had invited in the sacrifice there was great saintly kings, demigods from different planets, and the citizens of his kingdom, and also certain, Prabhupada mentioned, certain envious people also had come in. And then looking at them, and then finally, it is also mentioned about the beauty of Prthu Maharaj, that how tall he is, how his entire bodily features are so very beautiful. His smiling face, his beautiful face, and Prabhupada mentions in that purport, which is very interesting for all of us, is that to know how we are progressing in our spiritual life. It is basis how our mental constitution is, because the face, Prabhupada mentions, face is the index of the mind, and just as how your mental constitution is, it reflects in your face. If your mental constitution is not so great, you're sad, then it reflects in the face. Similarly, talking about the bodily features of King Prthu Maharaj, Prabhupada mentions over there that similarly, bodily features that you have acquired in this life is also because of your past activities that you have done. And some devotee mentioned that someone who has a very beautiful body in this life is because he has served the elders very well. If one serves the elders very well, then it is guaranteed that, of course, we don't want to take birth again. We want to go back, as Prabhupada said, this place is not meant for a perfect gentleman, is not meant for a gentleman. It's better to go back home, back to Godhead. But in case, even if you have to come back and you want to get a beautiful body, then it is wise that one serves the elderly people. So, so Prthu Maharaj then starts speaking to the audience and the members assembled there, and this is the instructions which he mentions, that how generally a king or the head of the state or the government should generally rule. And these are from verses 21 onwards till verse around 44. And these are the verses that are very, very essential in our spiritual life, because we might not be some leader who's managing, a big yatra also, but we definitely managed our family. We definitely managed before that ourselves. So we should generally know exactly what is important in our lives to properly govern ourselves, govern our dependence. And then, of course, if Krishna is giving us more service, then we try and then become, following the instructions, become better devotees of the Lord. So from verse 21 onwards, Prthu Maharaj starts speaking, and he initially informs that he prays to all the audience and he takes their blessings, and then he says that in verse 22, by the grace of the Supreme Lord, I have been appointed the king of this planet, and I carry the scepter to rule the citizens, protect them from all danger, and give them employment according to their respective positions in the social order established by Vedic injunction. So he says that his position that is there as a king is actually to give protection to the citizens. It is also to rule the citizens wisely and to give them employment according to their varna, according to the Vedic injunctions. And in this, Prabhupada mentions the word praja. Praja means one who's born. So praja of the citizen of the society, of the place where the king is ruling, is that they are born and now he's supposed to take care as their children. So these are very, very important that King Prthu Maharaj is telling. Then he says, I think that upon the execution of my duties, I shall be able to achieve the desirable objectives. Thank you, Prabhu. desirable objectives described by experts in Vedic knowledge. This destination is certainly achieved by the pleasure of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the seer of all destiny. So he wants to see that the desirable objectives of all the experts, that is the saintly people, are achieved. And for that he requires their blessings. And this way he can perform as the duty of the king. Any king who does not teach his citizens about their respective duties in terms of varna and ashrama, but who simply exacts tolls and taxes from them, is liable to suffer for the impious activities which have been performed by the citizens. In addition to such degradation, the king also loses his own fortune. So he wants to teach the citizens the different duties of Varna and Ashrama and to ensure that they perform their duties in Varna and Ashrama. And if they do not perform, then what happens is he's also, just as the citizens are liable for punishment, he's also liable for punishment. And also says that a king or the government or the head of the state is not just supposed to be taking tolls and taxes, but to giving them the proper education. This is very, very important. And then finally he goes to say in verse 25, Prthu Maharaj continued, therefore, my dear citizens, for the welfare of your king after his death, you should execute your duties properly in terms of your positions of Varna and Ashrama, and should always think of the Supreme Personality of Godhead within your hearts. By doing so, you will protect your own interest and you will bestow mercy upon your king for his welfare after death. So, as a king, there's a great responsibility that the citizens perform their activities properly, not only just for themselves, but the king also, it is said, he takes 1/6 of their pious and any bad activities that he does. So he's greatly responsible. And if the citizens don't follow properly, then he also suffers. And he just not only suffers in this life, but after his death also, he could be suffering. So then he goes on, I request all the pure-hearted demigods, forefathers, and saintly persons to support my proposal, for after death, the result of an action is equally shared by its doer, its director, and its supporter. My dear respectable ladies and gentlemen, according to the authoritative statements of Shastra, there must be a supreme authority who is able to award the respective benefits of our present activities. Otherwise, why should there be persons who are unusually very beautiful and powerful both in this life and the life after death? Here he's talking about the existence of the Lord as a witness, someone who sees and then who gives gives you the results of your activity. So there is a supreme authority. It is not that it is bereft of any supreme authority. There is someone who is able to give these benedictions depending upon on your activities. The next verse he goes on to say that there have been great personalities that have happened in the past. His grandfather Anga. Then you have Dhruva, Priyavrata, Manu, Anga, as well as by many other great persons and ordinary living, exemplified by Maharaj Prahlad and Bali, all of whom are theists, believing in the existence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead who carries a club. So here he talks about all those saintly kings, the Rajrishis, who actually ruled, but through the understanding that that there is a supreme source, and that supreme source is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and who holds a club, and we should worship him. So when this is done, then everything falls in place. And then he mentions about the abominable persons, and then he mentions about the example of his father. Although abominable persons like my father Vena, the grandson of death person, are bewildered on the path of religion, all the great persons like those mentioned agree that in this world, the only bestower of benediction of religion, economic development, sense gratification, liberation or elevation to the heavenly planets is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So all benedictions are given by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And there are the atheistic, Prabhupada mentions in the purport, there are the atheistic class of men who don't want to follow the injunctions given by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. they do not want to follow the Vedic injunctions. All they want to follow is principles of morality that they feel is correct. They want to do activities, work hard, somehow or the other, make money, but do not follow the injunctions. Follow exactly the injunctions, what they feel is correct, but not from the injunctions of the Vedic scriptures, and just enjoy life. And however you make your money, they are willing to to follow such activities. It is exactly like the philosophy of Charvaka. The philosophy of Charvaka is Rinam Kritva Dhrutam Pibet. That is Rinam Kritva. Even if you have Rinam, means in debt, you become you borrow a lot of debts. But Rinam Kritva Pibet, that is you drink ghee, which means to enjoy life. Even if you have to borrow, steal, do anything, but you enjoy life. And then Dehi Bhutasya, this body is anyways going to perish. Kim Punar Agamo Bhavet. Who has seen next life? So whatever life you have currently, just enjoy. So this is the atheistic class of men, and there is definitely a supreme authority who looks into this, and those who are atheistic class, they definitely get their results and reactions for whatever wrong they're doing. Then he goes on to say, by the inclination to serve the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, suffering humanity can immediately cleanse the dirt which is accumulated in their minds during innumerable births, like the Ganges water which emanate from the toes of the lotus feet of the Lord. Such a process immediately cleanses the mind, and thus spiritual or Krishna consciousness gradually increases. Just by serving the lotus feet of the Lord, our minds are purified and cleansed. Just like the Ganges, it purifies the 3 planets. Similarly, the minds are going to be purified. We all understand that the mind, even in Bhagavad Gita, it is said that the mind is very difficult to curb. It's very obstinate. It's very determined. But Krishna explains that it is possible by abhyasena kaunte, vairagyana uchyate, which means that you follow a practice, but not your own practice. The practice given by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And when you do this, then what happens is, the benefit is that you start getting renunciation to all material activities. And there was a very nice point that was mentioned in this verse, that the vairagya that is there in this verse that Krishna explains, abhyasena kaunte vairagyana uchyate, is that when you're in connection with the mind, is that when you're practicing, mind is very obstinate, very determined, very difficult to control, and many a times you practicing, but you don't get the desired result. Then what happens is you start getting morose, you start feeling sad, you start feeling depressed that so many years and still I'm not able to control the mind. So I heard a class from Shivram Maharaja, and he said that this vairagya that Krishna is speaking is the vairagya to feel that the mind is making you feel that you are good for nothing, you're useless. This thought process one should completely come out of. The renunciation of material things, of course, one has to be, but this vairagya, because specifically this verse talks about the mind and Krishna explains, so the renunciation is the wrong thought processes that the mind gives you, that you feel good for nothing, useless. This, and I shouldn't be associating with devotees. I've spent many years with them and still I'm the same. Naturally, of course, you won't be the same, but because mind is so strong, maybe at times it makes you think like this, but one should be very, very careful. One should not allow the mind to dictate these terms, but rather that's the process of yoga. One has to control the mind. So no more the practice, and then somehow or the other control the mind. So then, when a devotee takes shelter at the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality, he is completely cleansed of all misunderstanding or mental speculation, manifest renouncement. This is possible only when one is strengthened by practicing Bhakti Yoga. Once having taken shelter at the root of the lotus feet of the Lord, a devotee never comes back to the material existence, which is full of three worlds. So he goes on to say that yes, one should practice Bhakti Yoga, and by this practice of Bhakti Yoga, one will not again come back to this material world. Then he goes on. There is I want to come back to this very important part of the instruction, where he talks about the Brahmanas and the Vaishnavas. Because time is short, I just want to go there quickly. In verse 37, he speaks. Prthu Maharaj says, the Brahmanas and Vaishnavas are personally glorified by their characteristic powers of tolerance, penance, knowledge, and education. By dint of all these spiritual assets, Vaishnavas are more powerful than royalty. It is therefore advised that the princely order not exhibit its material prowess before these two communities and should avoid offending them. So Prthu Maharaj is saying to the citizens that one should be very, very careful in order to rule the society properly. The Brahmanas and the Vaishnavas have to be very nicely taken care. The province of giving order is there for the rest of the citizens, and the Brahmanas and the Vaishnavas, they don't need to be subjected to the order of the king, because generally it is understood that the kings would take instructions or consultation from the Brahmanas when making these orders. So here the important, now from verse 37 onwards, he starts speaking about the glories of Vaishnavas and the Brahmanas and how important it is for them to be taken care in this society of Varna and Ashrama. We'll read a few verses, and then probably we should be end of this session. The Supreme Person of Godhead, the ancient eternal Godhead, who is the foremost among all great personalities, obtained the opulence of his staunch reputation, which purifies the entire verse by worshipping the lotus feet of those Brahmanas and Vaishnavas. So it's not just the king, the present king, we are discussing King Prthu, but is also the Supreme Personality of Godhead gets his opulence. It's here mentioned, opulence of his staunch reputation by serving the Brahmanas. And we know from the pastimes of Lord Krishna that how wonderfully he took care of the Brahmanas, how wonderfully he took care of Sudhama when he had come, how wonderfully he took care of the Brahmana that was sent by Rukmini. So this is how the king, the Supreme Person of Godhead, took care of the Brahmanas. The Supreme Person of Godhead, who is everlastingly independent, who exists in everyone's heart, is very pleased with those who follow in his footsteps and engage without reservation in the service of the descendants of Brahmanas and Vaishnavas, for he is always very dear to Brahmanas and Vaishnavas as they are always very dear to him. The Vaishnavas, the devotees, the Brahmanas are very, very dear to him. It is also said in one of the songs that Govinda kahe Vaishnav mora pran. That is the Lord is saying that the Vaishnavas are his life and soul, and the Lord is in the heart of the Vaishnavas. By regular service to the Brahmanas and Vaishnavas, one can clear the dirt from his heart and thus enjoy supreme peace and liberation from material attachment and be satisfied. In this world, there is no fruit of activity superior to serving the Brahmana class, for this can bring pleasure to the demigods for whom the many sacrifices are recommended. So here it is said that one can clear the dirt from his heart by serving the Brahmanas and the Vaishnavas. Now one should understand that the mention of Brahmanas and Vaishnavas here is that the Brahmanas who are serving, who understand that the Param Satya, the absolute truth, is Brahman, and they're following all the qualities of Brahmanical lifestyle, and and the Vaishnavas are the ones who understand that this Brahman is actually the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. So Vaishnavas are also Brahmanas, but they one who serves the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu in the form, and the Brahmanas, one who serves the Param Satya in the form of Brahman. So, and then there is this nice song by Narottam Das Thakur by saying, Tadera Charana Se Bhakta Sanivas, Janame Hoy Ei Apilas, that my only wish and my desire is to serve the devotees. So the devotees are extremely dear to the Lord, and by serving the Lord, by serving the devotees of the Lord, one is able to serve the Supreme Personality of God. All the Supreme Personality of God, Ananta, eats through the fire. This is a very interesting verse. Although the Supreme Personality of God, Ananta, eats through the fire sacrifice offered in the names of the different demigods, he does not take as much pleasure in eating through fire as he does in accepting offerings through the mouth of learned sages and devotees. So it is said that the Lord eats through the mouth of the Vaishnavas. We all understand that in fire sacrifices, the fire is considered the tongue of the Lord. And whenever we say Swaha, he opens his mouth, and then we offer, the items in the fire. Here, Prabhupada mentions a very interesting point, which I'll probably read. Very interesting from the Prabhupada. He says, fire is certainly devoid of life, but devotees and brahmanas are the living representatives of the Supreme Lord. Fire is certainly devoid of life, but devotees and brahmanas are the living representatives of the Supreme Lord. So brahmanas and Vaishnavas are the living representatives of the Supreme Lord. Yeah, that's over there. They are the living representatives of the Supreme Lord. So if you really want to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead, it's very important that we invite Vaishnavas home and we nicely feed them. It always reminds me of this wonderful program by His Holiness Jayapataga Maharaja, which we get the benefit during Gaur Purnima. He gives a big feast to his god brothers who are assembled there, and of course other senior Vaishnavas. And because of Srila Prabhu's mercy, we get the opportunity, being Damodar Desh, we get the opportunity to serve Prabhupada disciples, and it's such a wonderful experience. I've got the opportunity a couple of times when I've gone there, and next time when anyone goes during Gaur Purnima, please don't forget that Maharaj always gives this feast, and you get the opportunity. Please try and enroll yourself and serve them, because service to Vaishnavas, which means that all the dirt which is there within our heart is completely cleansed. So going forward, we'll go a little bit fast because we're almost at the end. And O respectable 43, O respectable personalities present here, I beg the blessings of all of you that I may perpetually carry on my crown the dust of the lotus feet of such Brahmanas and Vaishnavas until the end of my life. He who can carry such dust on his head is very soon relieved of all reactions which arise from sinful life, and eventually he develops all good and desirable qualities. If you want all good and desirable qualities, which is actually the byproduct of devotional service, one must take example from Prthu Maharaja. He says that one should take the dust, and I beg the blessings of all you that I may perpetually carry on my crown, perpetually, the dust of the lotus feet of such Brahmanas and Vaishnavas. Such Brahmanas and Vaishnavas, the dust would be to follow the instructions. And generally, following the instructions of the Vaishnavas means following the instructions of the scriptures. Even Rupa Goswami explains that if one wants to make fast advancement in devotional life, one must take the dust of the lotus feet, from the lotus feet of Vaishnavas. When this was explained one time in a class, devotee thought that he should be scraping the feet of the devotee. and probably get the dust. And then it was explained that no, it's not that. Of course, if you get the opportunity, why not? We should. When we do Pada Seva, when we wash their feet, we of course drink, and that is so much beneficial. Similarly, but what's important more is the following the instructions of given in the Vedic literatures, and following the instructions of our acharyas and our senior devotees. There is nothing that is more pleasing to the Lord when the Lord actually sees that how there is the devotees live together in harmony. The devotees live together in harmony because it's like the thread, Maniganaiva, that the Lord is like the thread that strings all the pearls. So similarly, every harmony that we have within the society, within ISKCON, the loving relationship between the devotees, this is very much liked by the Lord, very, very much liked by the Lord. And this is only very much possible when Krishna is present. Otherwise, it is very difficult to hold one another, because we all understand that each one have got different degrees of ego within ourselves, and all of this can go. Abhiman is shunyo nitai. That is, Abhiman becomes shunya, it becomes zero when actually one follows the instructions very clearly. Last two verses we'll probably read, and then we will see another 1 minute more, and then we can close. The 44th verse: whoever acquires the Brahmanical qualifications, whose only wealth is good behavior, who is grateful and who takes shelter of experienced person, gets all the opulence of the world. I therefore wish that the Supreme Personality of Godhead and his associates be pleased with the Brahmana class, with the cows, and with me. Brahmanical qualifications means good behavior. Such a wonderful thing. Whose only wealth is good behavior, who is grateful and who takes shelter of experienced persons, which means the person, a Vaishnava, a Brahmana Vaishnava, is one who is grateful for the benefit that he has received from devotees, from Marg Pradaksha Gurus, whoever has brought them to Krishna consciousness. And being in Krishna consciousness, programs that are being arranged somehow or the other to try and give Krishna consciousness, one should really be grateful, because I forget the sentence, but a grateful heart is a very fulfilling heart, or something like that. And good behavior, one should have really. Devotees means good behavior. Prabhupada will say that devotee means a perfect gentleman. A gentleman means he's got such fine qualities. This is one way of actually preaching. You can preach by your skills of presentations, but very, very importantly is that in your advancement of Krishna consciousness, such good qualities must manifest. There's a beautiful verse in Srimad Bhagavatam: Yasyasi bhakti bhagavati akinchana sarve gunes tatra samasate sura. That you're endowed with such fine qualities. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj used to say that the Vaishnav Sadachar, the etiquette of a Vaishnava is so very attractive, and a devotee should carry the Sadachar like an ornament. Just like an ornament is very attractive, it looks very beautiful, even in the dark it shines. So similarly in this in this age of ignorance, Kali Yuga, you shine with such Vaishnava wonderful qualities. So, and who takes shelter of experienced persons. So we must always take shelter of devotees. We must take shelter of devotees. When we take shelter of devotees, we feel very secure. As Bandhu Baldev Prabhu said that we are trying and organizing the programs in the camp together jointly, all under the instructions of Srila Prabhu, and we report to Jagan Prabhu. We have a shelter, and that's why we feel so secure. And the ashram devotees, when we did a little bit of this service, there was so much thanking. They have so much of gratitude to the Vaishnava, to all of us who are managing this. And this is something which is so much appreciated by the Lord. So much appreciated by the Lord. You might not be a Pandit, you might not have so much money, but doesn't really matter. Just this quality of serving the Vaishnavas and the Vaishnavas getting an opportunity to serve you is something which the Lord really enjoys and likes. And Lord Chaitanya also, he also teaches through his personal example that how he would serve the Vaishnavas and how the Vaishnavas would serve him. Even if someone was remotely connected also, the Lord was so very kind to him. And last verse 45, the great sage Maitreya said, after hearing King Prthu speak so nicely, all the demigods, the denizens of Pitraloka, the Brahmanas and saintly persons present at the meeting congratulated him by expressing their goodwill. So from verses 45 onwards till 53, the assembled citizens, they are so happy to have heard from the instructions from Prthu, King Prthu Maharaja, and then they give their blessings and their benediction. So we'll read one or two and then we can close. They all declared that the Vedic conclusion that one can conquer the heavenly planets by the action of a putra or a son was fulfilled for the most sinful Vena, who had been killed by the curse of the Brahmanas, was now delivered from the darkest region of hellish life by his son Maharaj Prthu. And Prabhupada mentions in this verse that Maharaj Prthu, being such a wonderful devotee of the Lord, he has actually delivered his atheistic king, his father, King Vena. And here Prabhupada mentions the word, the meaning which many of us would probably be knowing is of Putra. Put is a planet in the lower regions of hell, and Tra means one who delivers. So Putra means one who delivers by unfortunate circumstances. If our parents, grandparents, they've gone there, we wouldn't be knowing. If they've gone there, they can be delivered. And this is the most important part of a putra or a putri, means to become Vaishnavas and to deliver our ancestors. And then there's examples of Hiranyakashipu in verse 47. All the saintly Brahmanas thus addressed Prthu Maharaj, O best of the warriors, O father of this globe, may you be blessed with a long life, for you have great devotion to the infallible Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the master of all universes. Which means to be blessed with long life. To long life means to have some purpose in life. To live long means to have some purpose in life, which means to become nice devotees of the Lord, to make ourselves very perfect, and then fulfill the purpose of our life, which is to become Krishna conscious. And then we can probably read the last verse of this chapter. Dear Lord, you are situated in pure existential position of goodness. Therefore, you are the perfect representative of the Supreme Lord. You are glorified by your own prowess, and thus you are maintaining the entire world by introducing Brahmanical culture and protecting everyone in your line of duty as a Kshatriya. So a Kshatriya means one who protects his dependents from getting any harm. And the greatest harm would be, as a king, to rule is to not give Krishna consciousness. Varnashram, yes, of course, to follow the Varnashrama system, but the point of Varnashrama means to Haritoshanam, that the Lord Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, must be pleased. If Krishna is not pleased, then the Varnashrama system, which is there, does not give the real result of your progress in your occupational duty. Your progress in your occupational duty means that you become Krishna consciousness, because you might be a very good Vaishya, you might be a very good Kshatriya, a good Brahmana, but then if you're not Krishna conscious, what good quality is that? So with this instructions of Prthu Maharaj, which is very, very important for all of us, I would thank His Grace Bandhu Baldev Prabhu, His Grace Jagan Prabhu, for kindly giving me this opportunity. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Brajanandan Prabhu. Thank you for the nice lecture, Prabhu, informative lecture. For the benefit of the devotees, is it possible to highlight some key takeaways in terms of practical application? Hare Krishna.
Key takeaways in practical application. Yes, one is to, in whatever position, sthane sthita shrutigatam tanuman manoti. Whatever sthan, whatever position we are in, grahastha, brahmachari, vanaprastha, almost. If I don't think if anyone is, yeah, maybe there is. One must take the instructions of Prthu Maharaj. First is to, in your position, to serve the Supreme Personality of God, become a devotee of the Lord, and then also advance yourself as a devotee. Advance yourself as a devotee means to understand that the devotees are very dear to Krishna, and we must serve the devotees very dearly. When you do this, then you actually please the Supreme Personality of God. And we all want to make advancement in our life. In our material life, we want to make advancement. So similarly, in our spiritual life, we want to make advancement. And how do we know that we are, what's the measure that we're making spiritual advancement? Is through our behavior. As it was explained that a Brahmana, Vaishnava Brahmana means one who is very grateful, one who is having very good behavior. A good behavior means he's having all the wonderful qualities of patience and tolerance and compassion, and all these wonderful qualities should be imbibed. And all of this will come not just by doing some course outside devotional life, but then to follow the instructions in the scriptures, especially, most importantly, by chanting. When you chant Hare Krishna, then naturally, which we are all doing, and then having prasadam, naturally we then see that how we are advancing, and that the measure of our advancement is to see that we are having these qualities, and we really like to associate with devotees, with any type of devotee, not just the God brothers. We are all actually one way God brothers because we are all grandchildren of Srila Prabhupada. So one shouldn't try and do any kind of difference. One shouldn't do this because the Lord is seeing this. And when you have these qualities, you will definitely shine. People will take notice, and people will take notice and will try and want to associate with you. So one way you're helping yourself, and the other way you're preaching. Just like Prthu Maharaj says that as a leader, he's trying to give instructions to people and help them to become Krishna consciousness. His whole purpose of him to rule the entire kingdom was to help all the citizens to become Krishna consciousness. So our practical thing is to become Krishna consciousness first, and then to help others. Like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Karo Paropkar. First, you become perfect as devotees, and then Karo Paropkar. You do upkar to others. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you so much. So, if there are any other queries, request the devotees to put it on chat. So we will relay it to Prabhu and then put the answers in the